Hello everyone, my name is Kevin and today we're talking about the periodic table part 2. So, did you watch the periodic table part 1 first to understand more about the periodic table and its elements, the building blocks around us? Then please watch our first video, periodic table part 1. Okay, so now let's start from our introduction. So, what kind of information are we talking from the periodic table today? Well, we're talking about bonding, especially ionic bonding and covalent bonding. So first, let me introduce. Bonding is a form that kind of like atoms and elements use so the atoms could become stable. So first, there are 2 types of bonding. Well, they can trade electrons or they can even connect together. So today we're talking about when electrons connect together. And there are 2 types of that kind, which is ionic bonds and covalent bonds. First, let's see. We have the Lewis dot diagram to make us much more easier to understand this kind of like bonding. So first, you need to write a chemical symbol. Just choose any element you like. And then just dot the number of valence electrons, which means the electrons in the outer part of the atom. So just then dot 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 dot. Okay? So now you just make a Lewis dot diagram, and it is an atom's diagram that is a Lewis dot diagram. So to understand bonding easier, we have this diagram, and they give together 2 electrons or 1 to connect. So they give away and the other also gives away. So the electrons that they give away, you'll put it out. And to indicate bonding, then you'll put a line in the middle of them. Or also, you just put the electrons they share in the middle of them and then draw a circle around it. So first, let's talk about our first type of bonding, ionic bonds. So ionic bonds form when a metal and a non-metal bond with each other. So kind of like oxygen and lithium, for example. So when they connect, they'll share the electrons with each other. Well, if they need electrons, which means they are reactive, then they will have a charge. And elements that have a charge is called an ion. There are 2 types of ions: the negatively charged ion or anion and the positively charged cation. So first, let's talk about how they connect. So non-metals, they need just 1 more electron so they could become stable. And metals, they need to give away 1 or 2 electrons so they could become stable. So first, we'll have a negatively charged anion, which is the non-metal, because they take away the electrons. And we'll have a positively charged cation, which is the metal. So the metal will give the electron to the anion. And so finally, we have two stable elements that are neutral, which means they do not have a charge like an ion. For example, we'll have salt, table salt, which is sodium chloride. And how do they bond? Sodium has 11 electrons, and they only need to get rid of one electron to have 10 stable electrons, so they won't react. And chlorine needs just one more electron. So sodium will give one electron to chloride. So they connect. And finally, let's talk about our second type, covalent bonds. Well, the introduction is covalent bonds is a bond between two nonmetals, usually two nonmetals. For example, let's have CaO, calcium oxide. First, calcium needs to give away 2 electrons, and oxygen needs to take away 2 electrons. So it forms a bond. So calcium will give away the 2 to oxygen, and they connect. There is even double bonding, which means one atom will give 4 electrons to the other. Like carbon, for example. Carbon dioxide is double bonding. Well, do you know why? This molecule has 2 oxygen atoms and 1 carbon atom. So the carbon atom will give away 2 to 1 oxygen atom, and the rest to 1 more oxygen atom. As I said before, carbon needs to give away 4 atoms, and oxygen needs to take away 2 atoms. So that forms carbon dioxide. And finally, we even have triple bonding. Well, before we talk about this, I should tell you that elements could even react with themselves. Yeah, like N2, which is 2 nitrogen atoms. And nitrogen, they need a full octet, which also means they need a group of 8 valence electrons. Each of them need 3 more. So one nitrogen atom will connect with the other, so that this one receives 3 atoms, and this one also receives 3 atoms. Now, do you understand? Bonding is particular in the things around us, because bonding is the way that we connect the things and makes the bulk of living life. They are the building blocks of the earth. And do you think this video is interesting? If you do, then please have a like and subscribe for this video. And if you subscribe, you can see our more new videos, our latest videos from the top head of our channel. So it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for listening.